We now solve the problem set. Consider the following problem. The two regression equations are 10x plus 3y is equal to 62 and 6x plus 5y is equal to 50. Find mean of x, mean of y, and the coefficient of correlation. To solve this, we need to know some theory. The theory says that if you want to find the two regression lines, read this note, the two regression lines meet at x bar, y bar. In other words, to find the point of intersection, we have to solve the regression equation by elimination method. The solution will give us x bar, y bar. Basically, what we have to do is, in order to find x bar and y bar are nothing but the mean of x and the mean of y, which is required in the question. So, in order to find the mean of x and mean of y, we have to solve the two equations which are given to us by elimination method, and then whatever is answer is for x will be our x bar, and whatever answer is for y will be our y bar. So we now solve this two by elimination method. 62 and 6x plus 55 equals 50. We take this 6 number which is in front of x, multiply on top. Take the number 10 which is in front of x, multiply down. Now when 6 gets multiplied, 6 gets multiplied to this 10, 6 also gets multiplied to this 3, 6 also gets multiplied to 6. Same thing happens with 10. So we get 6 into 10 is 60x, 3 6 is 18y, and 62 into 6 using calculator. Using calculator we find out what is 62 into 6. That is 372. So this is 372. Same thing we do with 10. When 10 gets multiplied with 6, we get 60x, we get 55, and then we get 500. Now what we do is we draw a line, change the sign. This thing will give us 32y. You do 50 minus 18, you get 32. 50 minus 18, you get 32. And since the 50 is having a negative sign, the sign will be negative. Same we do, now we have got minus 500 and 372. When we use this using calculator, that is 500 minus 372, we get it as 128, and this will have a negative sign again because 500 is the larger number. Now what we do, we divide 5, 32, cancel this, and when you divide 32 by 128 by 32, you get the answer as 4. You can try it using calculator. 128 upon 32 is, you divide this by 4, you divide this by 32, you get the answer as 4. So this gives y. Now our aim is to find x. So for that we take this equation. Any one equation, we'll take 10x plus 3y equals 62. Substitute y in this equation and we get x. 10x plus 12 is equal to 62. 10x is equal to 62 minus 12. 10x equals 50. 62 minus 12 is 50. X is 50 upon 10, and therefore x is nothing but 5. So whatever you have got as x, this is nothing but x bar. So x bar in other words is 5, and whatever you have got is 5, you got it as 5 bar, and this is 4. Now our aim is to find r. Our aim is to find the coefficient of correlation, which is r. For that, we have to use a formula. Now, the formula is given on the following page. We have to use this following formula R, which is given as plus minus square root of byx bxy. To find R, we have to use this formula. R is equal to plus minus square root of byx into bxy. Now to find R, our next aim is to find out what is this byx and what is this bxy. Now that is also clear, that also we can find out using this note. The note says here that when two lines are given in the question, convert them to slope intercept form and get their slopes. The line having the smaller slope is y on x and byx is the smaller slope. The line having the larger slope is the line of x on y, and bxy is equal to 1 upon larger slope. So what it means is that whatever lines that we are given here, we have to find the slope of both these lines. We have to find the slope of both this line, and then whichever one is your smaller slope will be your byx. Byx will be nothing but your smaller slope, and bxy will be nothing but 1 upon whichever is the larger slope. So now our aim is to take this equation, find the slope. So that's what we do. We take the first equation. First equation is 10x plus 3y equals 62. 10x plus 6y, no, 10x plus 3y, 62. And the other one is 6x plus 5y equals 50. 6x plus 5y equals 50. So what we do is our aim is to find slope. Now to find slope, we do a simple trick. We take everything, this 10x on the other side. We also take this 3 on the other side, and we only keep y on this side. So we now do 10x plus 3y equals 62, and we take this 10x that side. So when we take it 10x on other side, since 10x was added to 3y, it became minus 10x. Now I want to get rid of this 3 also, so I divide by 3, and then I share the 3 to both of them. And now to get the slope, I just have to look at what number is there in front of x, and this number will be my slope, the slope. Now, same thing I have to do for the other line. So what I do is, I take 6x that side, I also take this 5 that side. So I take 5y is equal to 50 minus 6x. I take y is equal to 50 minus 6x upon 5. I give this 5 to both. I take 50 upon 5 minus 6 upon 5x. This number is nothing but my slope. So the slope of this line 10x plus 3y is minus 10 upon 3. This, if I divide using calculator, 10 upon 3, then divide by 3, it is 3.33. This slope is minus 3.33. And the other slope which I have obtained is minus 6 upon 5. And then when I divide 6 upon 5 using calculator, I get 1.2. I get slope as minus 1.2. Now, what I have to basically do is, so now what has happened is I have got the slope of line 1 as minus 10 upon 3, and which is minus 3.33, and slope of line 2, I get this as minus 1.2. Now, from this, I have to identify my byx and my bxy. Now your byx, as the note suggested, was nothing but the smaller slope, and bxy was 1 upon the larger slope. Now, you have to be very careful now here. Your byx in this case will be minus 1.2. The reason is pretty simple, that you have to only look at the value. You don't have to look at the sign. Yes, when you look at the sign, it is very clear that the negative 3.33 is smaller than minus 1.2. It is smaller. But now, when you are comparing this byx and bxy, you have to only take the magnitude. So byx is smaller in magnitude. Magnitude means what? Ignoring the sign. You have to ignore the sign. Since byx has a smaller slope, 1.2 is smaller in magnitude compared to 3.33, we take byx as minus 1.2. And then we take bxy as 1 upon the larger slope. The larger slope is minus 3.33. So this will come down to 1 upon 3.331 divided by 3, 1 divided by 3.33, 3.33. We get the answer as 0.3. So the bxy is nothing but 0.3 and with a minus sign. So the trick here is very simple. Byx is the smaller slope, smaller one, but you have to only take the magnitude. That means you have to ignore the sign and see who is smaller. Whereas bxy is 1 upon the larger slope. Now, since we know byx and we know bxy, now it's very easy to find r using this formula. So the r, which is coefficient of correlation, is plus minus square root of byx bxy. Now we enter in and we write plus minus byx is what? Minus 1.2 into minus 0.3. Then what you do is you get plus minus, minus minus will become plus, and this will turn out to 3.60. 1.2 into 0.3. We'll see what it turns out to. 1.2 into 0.3 is 0.36. So this is 0.36. So this is actually plus minus 0.36, and the answer is 0.6. When you take the root, your answer will be 0.6. Now here instead of this both plus and minus sign, only one sign will come. Now there is a theory behind this as to what sign will come. The theory is here: byx, bxy, r should always have the same sign. All three, byx, bxy, should have the same sign. Here byx has negative sign, bxy also has negative sign, so r also should have the negative sign. So now with this we finish our problem. We have found the mean of x and y. This is mean of x, this is mean of y. We have also found the r. The only trick to remember is you have to only take byx as smaller slope, but only in magnitude, ignoring the sign. You have to ignore the sign, and the largest bxy is 1 upon the largest slope. Now, we proceed to the next problem. The next problem is, if covariance between x and y is 42 and standard deviation of x and y are 6x, find Carl Pearson's coefficient of correlation. Now, for that, we need to know the formula. Now, here, the Carl Pearson's coefficient of correlation is given by R is equal to covariance xy upon sigma x sigma y. Covariance xy is covariance, sigma x is standard deviation of x, sigma y is standard deviation of y. So this is the formula to calculate Carl-Pearson's coefficient. So the formula is R is equal to covariance xy upon sigma x sigma y. Now, in the question, it is clearly mentioned that covariance between x and y is 42. So the numerator will be 42. The standard deviation of x, it is given as 6. Standard deviation of x is 6. So sigma x will be 6. Standard deviation of y is given as 8. So this will be 8. So you get 42 upon 6. It's a 48. When you use your using calculator, 42 divided by 48, we get the answer is 0.875. So your Carl-Pearson's coefficient is nothing but 0.875. Similarly, we now move to the next problem. Again, the problem is similar. Covariance between x and y. Variances of x and y are this, and Carl-Pearson's coefficient. Use the same formula. R is covariance xy upon sigma x sigma y. The covariance is given to us 9. The sigma x and sigma y are not given, but we are given variances of x. We are given variance of x as 25, and we are also given variance of y as 16. Now to get standard deviation, that is sigma x, which is the standard deviation of x, you just have to take the square root of this number, and the square root of this number is 5. Similarly, to find sigma y, which is the standard deviation of y, you just have to take the square root of this number, which is 16. You get the answer as 4. So instead of sigma x, 5 will come, here 4 will come. You get 9 upon 20, you get 0.45 as the answer. Now we move to the last problem. Given pairs of observations x and y, sum of product of deviation x and y is this. Sum of square of deviation of x from its mean is 97.91. Sum of square of deviation of y from its mean is 237.76. Find Carl-Pearson's coefficient. Again, the formula for Carl-Pearson's coefficient is covariance xy upon sigma x sigma y. Now in this case, the covariance is nowhere mentioned. The sigma x is also nowhere mentioned. Sigma y is nowhere mentioned. So we have to find covariance. We have to find sigma x. We have to find sigma y. Now, for that, we have some formulas. Now, if you recollect here, the covariance has two formulas. This is one formula which is given in terms of sigma xy upon n minus x bar y bar. Sigma x is this, sigma y. There is another covariance formula is given over here. Sigma x formula is also given over here. Sigma y formula is also given over here. So in total there are two. Now which one to use depends upon the question. It is told over here that these formulas have to be used when x and y are directly given. Whereas if deviations of x and y are given, we use this set of formulas. Now in our question, the word clearly deviations are given over here. So therefore, we use the other set of formulas that is there. So using the other set, the second set, and copying this formula, we get covariance xys summation of x minus x bar y minus y bar upon n. You also get sigma x as square root of summation of x minus x bar the whole square upon n. Copying this formulas as it is, and sigma y is summation y minus y bar the whole square upon n. Sigma y is square root of summation y minus y bar the whole square upon n. These are the same formulas that we have copied. Now we proceed to over here. Now we look at the information that is given to us. The first information that is given to us is number of pairs of observation of x and y is 10. This number 10 is nothing but n, the number of observation. So in this case, the n is 10. Now, what is also given is sum of product of deviations of x and y. Now, product means multiply. And if you see in this formula, these terms are multiplied. So therefore, whatever is this answer that is given over here, minus 130.56 should come here. It is said sum. See, the word sum is there, and that sum is here. There is product over here. The product can be seen over here, and this is nothing but deviation of x. This is deviation, and this is also deviation. So we substitute it here, and we get the answer as minus 13.056. Okay. Similarly, our aim is to find this, but our n is nothing but 10. Now we have to find sigma x, which is given as summation x minus x bar square. For this, we have to use the other information that is available to us. The information that is available to us is sum of square of deviation. If you see, there is sum, there is square, and there is x over here. That means this number that is over here should come here, 97.91. So this comes down to root of 9.791, and using calculator we'll find out the value of this. Root of 9.791, root of 9.791, and the answer is coming to 3.12. So this answer is 3.12. Similarly, we look at sigma y. We are given the sum of square of deviation of y. So there is sum over here, there is square, these are deviation of y. So this number should come over here, whatever is this, 237.76, and the number 10 should come below. So we get this as 23.776, and when we used find the root using this calculator, 23.776 using calculator, we get the answer as 4.87. Now we substitute all this in this formula and get the value of the coefficient of correlation. Covariance xy upon sigma x, sigma y. The covariance was found as minus 13.056, minus 13.056. Sigma x was found over here as 3.12, and sigma y was found over here as 4.87, minus 13.056. Then we use this 3.12 into 3.12 multiplied by 4.87, 4.87, and we get the answer as 15.19. So this is 15.19, and then we divide both of them. So 13.056 upon 15.19, 13.056 divided by 15.194, and the was coming to 0.859. 0.859. This sign gets carried over. With this, we have solved the problem set.